doing. What we will do, we will now only discuss it. So see here, two projects are there, projects A and project B, and only 1 year is there in this illustration, and discounted rate is 10%. Initial investment for both the project is 10,000. Okay, so now how we can calculate? For 1 year, 5 cash flows are given, 5 expected or possible event are given. So how we can do? First we will do it for the project A. First we will calculate the expected cash flow. Expected cash flow. How we can calculate the expected cash flow? Simple. Expected cash flow for year 1. Only 1 year is there in this project. So expected cash flow A, B, C, D, and E. 5 cash flows are given, no? Okay. So this will be the event cash flow. So what are the cash flows? 8,000, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000, 16,000. Okay. Probability value is also given 0.10, 0.20, 0.40, 0.20, 0.10. So expected cash flow. How we'll get the expected cash flow? 8,000 into probability value. Okay. So do the total of this, you will get the mean cash flow. This will be the cash flow which we will take in our solution. So NPV we can calculate like this. Only 2 cash flows will be there: initial investment and first year. Initial investment 10,000, first year 12,000. Okay. Year cash flow rupees. PV factor at 10%. Okay, discounted cash flow. So 0 PV is always 1, and 10% first year cash flow is 0.909. So discounted cash flow, this into this, and 12,000 into 9. So your NPV for this project A will be NPV for this project is 908. Okay, NPV. Then similarly, we can do it for project B also. So project B cash flows are 24,000, 20,000, 16,000, 12,000, 8,000. Okay, and probability values are 0.10, 0.15, 0.50, 0.15, 0.10. So expected cash flow is 16,000. Initial investment is same for both the projects. So NPV for project B is 4,000, 544. Okay. $0.909 discounting factor, no? 10 divided by 100 plus 1 divided by equal to 10 divided by 100 plus 1 divided by equal to, correct, no? 0.90. Present value for first year at 10% discount rate. Clear, everybody? Any confusion? Okay, so now the second method or technique for risk analysis under statistical method is standard deviation. A very important technique for risk analysis. Now, risk can be basically classified into two categories. One is the systematic risk and another is the unsystematic risk. Okay, all risk will be either coming under systematic risk or it can be grouped under unsystematic risk. So two broad classification or two basic classification in which you can group risk is systematic risk and unsystematic risk. Okay. What is a systematic risk? Systematic risks are those risks which will affect all the business equally in the country. Okay, they are the risk, they are the type of risk which will affect all the business equally. Okay, like inflation, all the business will be affected because of inflation. Changes in government policy. If government is changing any policy, it will affect all the business, no, in the country. Such type of risk which will affect all the persons, all the business equally are known as systematic risk. Okay, and very important and good example is inflation, because it will affect all the persons, no? All the business will be impacted or affected because of systematic risk. Okay, then next is unsystematic risk. It is the risk which will affect only the particular business, like power failure. So in ABC Limited, if there is a power failure, it will not affect XYZ Limited. Okay. Similarly, if there is a software failure in the company, then it will affect only that particular company. You know, such type of risk are known as unsystematic risk. Strikes. If in one company XYZ strike is there, it will not affect ABC. Okay. So which are related to only individual business, particular business units, they are known as unsystematic risk. Okay, and which will affect all the business are known as systematic risk. Okay, now how we can measure risk? Systematic risk is measured using beta. So if you want to measure systematic risk, then you will have to calculate the beta value. Okay. And if you want to calculate the total risk, we will have to calculate standard deviation. Okay, so total risk is systematic risk plus unsystematic risk. Okay, so total risk is systematic risk plus unsystematic risk. So total risk is measured using standard deviation. So you have to remember this. Total risk will be measured using standard deviation. Okay, and systematic risk is measured using beta. Okay, so total risk you can call it as standard deviation. Systematic risk will be beta, and whatever is left will be unsystematic risk. Okay, so we will calculate the standard deviation and calculate beta. Standard deviation minus beta will be unsystematic risk. Okay, now remember one thing, systematic risk you cannot avoid because it is not in your control. Okay, because inflation, it is not in your control. Government policy, not in your control. Okay, so systematic risk cannot be avoided. Note and keep, systematic risk cannot be avoided. You can only take steps to minimize the systematic risk. Okay, you can manage systematic risk, but you cannot completely avoid systematic risk. First thing. Second thing, unsystematic risk you can completely avoid. Okay, you can make unsystematic risk zero also. Okay, like power failure, unsystematic risk. So you can avoid power failure by setting an alternative power requirement like generators, inverters. So you can avoid the unsystematic risk. Strike, you can avoid by making negotiation with your workers, laborers, etc. Okay, software corruption, you can always keep a backup of your data. So unsystematic risk you can make it zero also. So unsystematic risk is completely avoidable. Okay, only thing is that you should take into consideration the cost benefit analysis before taking steps for completely avoiding the unsystematic risk. Systematic risk you cannot avoid it. You will take steps, still systematic risk will be there because it is not in your hand. Okay, so systematic risk you can mitigate systematic risk, take steps to reduce systematic risk. You can manage systematic risk, but you cannot completely avoid systematic risk. First thing, and total risk is systematic risk plus unsystematic risk. Total risk is standard deviation. Systematic risk is beta. Standard deviation minus beta will give you unsystematic risk. Okay. Now, what is a standard deviation? We will understand in the next class. Before doing the sum on standard deviation, we will understand what is a standard deviation first. Then we will go for the illustration on standard deviation. As far as beta is concerned, it is not there in your syllabus. So we will not discuss beta at present because it is not relevant for the examination point. If required, we will discuss at a later stage. Okay, so first we will focusing on the standard deviation. In the next class, we will understand the concept of standard deviation first. Then we will go for the illustration on calculating the standard deviation. Okay, so for today we are stopping here. Thank you, everybody.